Welcome to part 6 of the Sapphire Builder Essentials. In the previous 5 videos of the series, we've covered most of the fundamentals of Builder. This included an overview, combining multiple Sapphire effects in Builder, and working with multiple input sources in the Builder workspace. This should enable you to create some amazing designs with these tools. In this video, we're going to take things up a notch by looking at another concept in Builder known as parameter linking. You might know this as channel linking, or even a mini version of expressions. This functionality allows you to drive one parameter off another, making it easy to drive complicated looking effects with only a few controls. Let's check this out. To keep things moving along, I have already built a custom preset using Sapphire Builder. I have created a focal point on an image, and it's surrounded by custom blurs and rays in order to focus your attention on the focal point. Let's examine the nodes in the workspace to understand the overall look development. I'll ensure that we're previewing up to the selected node. Starting off with the shape node, this is a softened circle which is acting as the focal point for the effect. Next, we have the blur node, which is limited by the shape and the matte is inverted. The blur is then fed into a raise node, and this effect is causing the raise effect plus some additional illumination. The raise effect is also limited by the shape, and the matte is also inverted. Turning off preview up to selected, we can see that all the components make up this unique look. Now to sell the effect, as the focal point moves, so should the raise to draw your viewer's attention. However, if we select the shape and change the position, you'll see the rays remain the same. So as it currently stands, this would require manually animating multiple parameters to make the effect work. This is where parameter linking will make your life so much easier. The first step in creating a parameter link is to define who's in charge. This is what we call the driver. So in the shape node, we'd like the center of the shape to drive the center of the raise effect. This can be done by clicking the stopwatch button for the animation and linking settings. All you need to do is define the parameter as the driver. The channel goes green to indicate the driver status. You can keep the settings open or click the stopwatch to close the settings. Next, select the raise node in the workspace and find the center parameter. Click the stopwatch icon for the animation and linking settings, and this time click the chain button. The pull-down asks you to select a driver, and we'll choose the center parameter from the shape node. The parameter is red, which indicates it's connected to a driver, and you'll also get indications appearing in the workspace showing you which parameters are driving each other. Hovering over these indications will also display more connection information. Now you can select the shape node manually or click View Driver Node from the raise parameter. This takes you directly to the driver controls and you can start moving the center of the shape. Notice how the rays adjust with the new positioning of the shape. All done with one control. If you're from a VFX background, you'll recognize this as linking by an expression. As an important point, you can only link parameters of the same kind with each other. So you can link a center with a center, but not a center with a brightness parameter, for instance. Please keep that in mind. Now, with parameter linking is not just about linking one parameter to another with an identical value. You actually have a few controls to alter the values when needed. For example, we'd like the raise length to influence the amount of blur. So select the raise node and using the same workflow, set the raise length as the driver. As an extra quick tip, you can rename this channel to remind you of what it will do. So change it to raise and blur. This name will also be visible in your host, making it easier for other artists. Next, move to the blur node parameters and call up the animation and linking settings for the blur amount. Click the chain button and choose the raise and blur parameter as the driver. You will see the viewer update with the new values. So currently, the raise and blurs parameters use the same value. If I set the raise to 0.2, the blur amount will also be 0.2. However, if you want the blur value to be half of the raise value, set the scale parameter to 0.5. The scale parameter is a multiplier. So for double the amount of blur compared to raise, set the scale to a multiplier of 2. The offset parameter, which we won't use in this case, lets us add and subtract to this value. This is of course very useful, and we'll come back to it at a later time. Returning to the raise node and adjusting the raise and blurs parameter, you can see how both parameters are connected, but with different values. So parameter linking has a ton of uses in Sapphire Builder. It can simplify and automate your workflows, as well as make the controls easier and more user-friendly in Builder and your hosts. You'll notice that Sapphire's installed presets frequently use parameter linking, and it's worth exploring those to get inspiration about other ways to use linking. It's definitely something worth having in your back pocket. Coming up next, we'll go through the workflow of saving your Builder presets, from setting up the channels, preset options, and testing in different hosts. See you in the next video.